There's a study out of MIT and Harvard Business Review that's been floating around sales circles for years, and it basically says this. If you call a new inbound lead within 5 minutes of them submitting their information, you're 100 times more likely to actually reach them compared to you waiting 30 minutes. 100 times. And most businesses follow up in hours, if they follow up at all. And that gap is money sitting on the table. And in this video, I'm about closing that gap permanently with an AI voice agent that actually calls every single lead within 30 seconds of them submitting the form. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without a human touching anything. Let me show you what this looks like. And there is the call.
Hi, this is XYZ calling from ABC. Am I speaking with Tim?
Yes, you are. How can I help you?
Thanks, Tim. You recently inquired online for a broker to help with your loan options. Are you looking to buy a property, refinance, or something else?
Yeah, I wanted to buy a property.
Great, Tim. Do you have a specific location or suburb in mind for the property?
Yeah, I actually wanted to buy in Germany, in Munich.
Thanks for that. And about the price range. Are you looking at properties around a certain value?
I mean, prices in Munich are quite steep, so probably above 1.5 million.
Understood. Do you have an estimated deposit or savings amount for this purchase?
No.
No worries. Are you currently employed or self-employed? And will this be a single or joint income application?
Yeah, I am employed, and this will be a joint application with my brother.
Thanks for sharing that. Do you have any major constraints we should know about, like visa status or credit issues?
No, not at all.
Great. And your desired timeline is in 1 to 3 months, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect, Tim. What time zone are you in?
I'm
This will help us
in Munich.
schedule a... One moment. I see available times on March 30th at 12:30 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. and on March 31st at 8 a.m., all in your Munich time zone. Which one works best for you?
Can you actually check if Thursday next week is available around 8 a.m.?
The 8 a.m. slot on Thursday next week isn't available. Would you like me to suggest some other times on that day?
Yes, please.
The 9 a.m. slot on Thursday next week is also unavailable. Would you prefer a later time that day, or should I suggest times on a different day?
No, it's fine. Then I will just take the 8 a.m. slot on Tuesday the 31st.
Just a sec. All set, Tim. Your appointment is booked for 8 a.m. on March 31st, Munich time. A consultant will follow up with you then. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Tim. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you. You too. That call you just saw just fired a handful of seconds after the form was submitted. The AI introduced itself, qualified the lead, and booked the appointment directly into GoHighLevel and the business's calendar. No human was involved whatsoever, and that's the system I'm building in this video, using Vapi, GHL, and N8N. First, I will actually walk you through the problem, then show you exactly how the system works, and then we will set it up together step by step so you can follow along easily. This is not technical. You don't need to know how to code, you don't need cloud code, you don't need anything basically except GHL, N8N, and Vapi, and I will give you everything for free for you to be able to execute it perfectly. So let's dive right in. Here's the problem. When somebody fills out a form after seeing a Facebook ad or clicking a research result, they're in a very short window of intent. They've just seen something, made a decision, and acted on it. Within minutes, they moved on. Within 30 minutes, they've forgotten what they were even looking at, and within a few hours, If a competitor called them first, you've already lost the deal. The MIT lead response study tracked 15,000 leads. Calling within 5 minutes made businesses 100 times more likely to actually reach the lead compared to calling 30 minutes later. And that's not a marginal improvement. That's a completely different outcome for the exact same leads you've already paid to acquire anyways. The reason this doesn't get solved is simple. A business owner can't drop everything every time a lead comes in. You'd need a dedicated person sitting by the phone 24/7, ready to call the second a form gets filled out. And nobody does this, so leads go cold. And this system replaces that entirely. No person required, no delay, and every lead is called within under 30 seconds every single time. So how does the system work? Well, here's the full flow before building anything. A lead submits a form. That could be a GoHighLevel landing page form, for example, a Facebook leads ad, a Google lead form, any source that actually connects to GHL. The moment the form is submitted, GHL creates a contact and triggers a workflow. That GHL workflow fires a custom webhook call directly to Vapi. No third-party tools in between. GHL already has all the contact data it needs. The name, the phone number, email address, what they inquired about. So it passes all of that directly into Vapi via the webhook payload. Vapi then places the outbound call. The AI introduces itself over the phone on behalf of the business. It references what the lead inquired about, qualifies them on the business's criteria, and either books an appointment directly into the GHL calendar or handles them based on where they sit in the timeline. After the call ends, Vapi sends a post-call webhook to N8N. N8N then processes the outcome and updates the contact in GHL with tags, notes, and appointment if one was booked. And the appointment is also booked itself through N8N. For this, I have a custom template which you can download from a resource hub and import it directly into N8N. And regarding the end of call report, so the data after the call is finished, I made a video about this already. You can see it on the screen somewhere right now. And the whole chain from form submission to call active is under 30 seconds. And now let's actually jump in the build. The first part here is GoHighLevel configuration. This slide is actually not too important. I would just jump into GoHighLevel and show you guys directly. So the very first thing in GoHighLevel is actually having a site, a funnel or a web page or whatever with an intake form which the lead can fill out. You can find both if you go in the sidebar to sites, and you can either have funnels or websites, and you have forms over here. Let's start with the funnels first. This is where the web page actually lives. I have my content demos here, and then the speed to lead demo. You can create a new funnel if you want to hit like new funnel, have a blank template, or choose from a few templates. I actually just chose a template for this to show you guys, and it's this website here. This is basically a demo for a mortgage brokerage. I didn't change anything on here directly. The only thing I did is if I go into edit mode, you can see those buttons right here. And if those buttons are clicked, a pop-up is coming where the form then actually appears. And obviously you somehow need to link the form you want the lead to fill out to those buttons. So that's what I did. And you do this by scrolling down on the right side and button actions, open pop-up, and then just select pop-up here. You can change the pop-up if you go to the top left here and go to the top pop-up settings, and here you have the pop-up. It's weird saying this all over again, but then you can just click on this, and then you can, like, if you don't have the pop-up right here, you can select it. If I just delete this, then you can actually see this. Click plus, then you go to form, and then you can select your form. I have this demo speed to lead form, which I built before. So obviously you need to build a form before, and then you just hit save. Now, to have a form that you can actually link here, you will need to go to this form builder, and then you can create a new form by clicking add form. I won't do this right now, but you can select from a few templates there too, or build your own. I have my content demo form right here. This is how it looks like. You more often than not have like these four default fields, which is first name, last name, phone number, and email address. I would always recommend you get those. Obviously, in order to trigger AI outbound calls, you have to collect the phone number, because without phone number, you can't call anyone. The rest is more or less optional. but I would definitely recommend this. And best case, you already have a few like qualifying questions in here, or something like a bit of more information that the user gives you, so you have a more precise idea of what they are actually inquiring about. And then obviously this for compliance. If you created this form, then also hit save, and then as I've just showed you, you can link it to your web page, and then everything should be fine. If both of those things are created, you can go to automation, and then you need to create a new workflow. I already have a workflow for this too, and this workflow is extremely simple. You have 3 steps. You can technically make 2 out of this. The most important one is the trigger here. This is a trigger which is activated when the form is actually submitted, and you can get this by clicking add trigger. Let me just click out here, add new trigger, and then you select form submitted, and that's almost it. You just have to click add filter, select form is, and then select the form you just created, because obviously you want this specific call only to trigger when this specific form is filled out, and then hit save trigger. Again, I already have the trigger here, so I won't do this. Next, what I always like to do is I add a tag. This just is a tag added to the contact, which tells me later on that the AI outbound form call has been triggered. So when this tag is applied to a contact, I know that this contact went through this workflow already. You don't have to do this. This is optional. This is just for myself because I like this observability. But yeah, this is what I do. You can do the same. In order to do this, obviously you need to create a tag first. You do this in the settings. Won't go over this right now because it's very simple. Just know that this is definitely an option you could do. And then the last step, which is arguably the most important one here or in this whole video, is the custom webhook. The custom webhook is basically like the message telling Vapi AI, hey, I have this new contact here, please call them. And we have the method, which is post. The URL is api.vapiai/call. For authorization, you're gonna select bearer token, and then you need to input a so-called bearer token. This is basically like a password which lets GoHighLevel authenticate against your Vapi account. You get this API key from your Vapi account. How you do this is what I will show you in a second. Just know that you can click this drop down, create new key, then give it a name, and then just paste the API key in this field right here. And then you can just select it from the list, which will be there for you. We don't need any header items. We don't need any query parameters. But what we do need is this raw body. This is specifying which phone number we want to use, which agent we want to use from Vapi, and then everything else that we want to customize. In this case, we don't want to customize much. We mainly want to customize the first message, because if the user is actually picking up the phone, we want to address them with their first name. And that's what we do with contact first name, because that's basically a custom variable which looks up the contact, pulls the first name, and puts it into this first line. And obviously, you would specify the XYZ with the agent name, and then the ABC with your business name. And then down here, we have the variable values. Variable values are important for contact. This is what gives the agent more information about the user than they've had before. For example, if I now called the agent from my phone, if I made an inbound call to the agent wouldn't know anything about me, because these variables wouldn't be filled in. Because how would the agent know? But with the person filling out the form and giving us information about, for example, in this case, if they've already found a property, if they have a fixed timeline in mind, and if they know their borrowing capacity, we can actually give this information the user gave us through the form to the agent. So the agent, doesn't need to ask those questions, or can just verify this, or can just base the conversation on this information. And in order to actually successfully write this, you need to kind of put this into JSON format. JSON is just a way in which you can structure data. It might look very complicated, but it's actually quite easy, and you don't need to know this yourself. You can ask ChatGPT to write this. Also, you will find this exact JSON body in my resource hub too, so you can just grab it from there. Actually, let me show you how. First, you need to actually go to the link in the description down below and access my Voice AI Accelerator, the resource hub. But then you can just scroll down and go to the last card, Speed to Lead AI Appointment Booking Voice Agent with GoHighLevel, Vapi, and N8N. You can click into here. And if you open up this GHL, the code thing, then this is the exact JSON body that I use and that you can use in your form too. So just go in here, click and copy it. Go back to GHL. You can click Control A, Control V. That's at least what I will do. And then that's the exact JSON body that I have. Now, as you can see, you will have a no phone number ID. That's what you need to input yourself. And you will also not have an assistant ID. That's also what you need to input yourself. But we haven't created that yet, so we can't do this already. Now, what might happen is that these 3 questions are not the ones you want to have on your form. And that's not the ones you want to specify. And what you then will do is you will go back into the form builder. You will select the custom fields that you added. And you will click on this little wheel here, go to advanced settings, and then you can see the unique key here. That's what you will copy, and you will go to ChatGPT and copy all of those unique keys from every custom field that you added, and tell ChatGPT, hey, I've got these custom fields with these unique keys. Please adjust this JSON body so it uses my unique keys instead of the ones which are already filled in. And then you just let ChatGPT output you the correct JSON body, and then you're good. Now, back in automation, if we triggered the workflow right now, it wouldn't work because we don't have the phone number ID right here, and we don't have the assistant ID. And for this, let's hop into Vapi and set up the assistant too. In the Vapi dashboard, the first thing you will do is you need to buy a phone number. You can do this on the phone number tab here. If you are in the US, lucky you can just create a new phone number and get a free Vapi number, which is for US area codes only. If you are not from the US, I would recommend you import one via Twilio or Telnix. Twilio is definitely one of the easiest things. You will just have to buy a phone number on there, connect your account SID, your account auth token, give the phone number a name, and then import it from Twilio. There are hundreds of tutorials on the web on how to do this, so I won't cover this in this video. But if you have your phone number imported, you can go below to the phone number, and what you can see is the ID, which is here, and you will need to copy it. Go back to GoHighLevel and then put in the phone number ID in here. After this, what we need to do is we need to go back to Vapi into the composer, and what we do now is we create the agent. We will create the agent and the tools necessary for this to work in the composer. The composer is basically ChatGPT within Vapi that can do actions in Vapi and can do stuff for you. So you don't even have to know how to build assistants yourself. If you still want to do this, you can still go to assistants, create a new assist. You can either go with a blank template or select one of the 6 templates here, and then configure everything you want to configure manually here. If you are a beginner, the composer is way easier though, and the best thing is you don't even have to think of a prompt yourself. Again, you just need to go to my resource hub, to the Speed to Lead AI Appointment Booking Voice Agent with GoHighLevel, Vapi, and N8N. Go to Vapi, and then Assistant Configuration Prompt, and then copy this snippet here. Go back to Vapi, paste it into the chat, and now you have to do 2 things. You have to give the assistant a name by replacing this with an actual name. I'm going to name my assistant Kara today, and then you will give it your business name, which I will just call today Brokers for Australia, and then we will hit enter and wait. Actually, I'm getting a question back, which I didn't get before, but that's fine. I will just say, because it's asking me about booking flow, and I will actually have this in the next step, so I don't want it to worry about this just yet. So I'm just gonna say build Kara first, and now it should go ahead and just, build the assistant in my account. And that's it. When you see the green post assistant, then everything is good. Let's just go to assistants and check. We have Kara here, we have the model GPT-4o mini cluster, we have a system prompt right here, and we have the voice configuration with the voice that we requested. Obviously, you can change these things. You can change the voice. You can change this model. And also what you will definitely need to change in the future is the system prompt. That's one thing about voice agents. Voice agents are not set and forget systems. What you normally do is you build an assistant, you put it live, and then you listen back to the calls the assistant actually takes. And every single thing that the voice agent says or does that is not according to what you wanted to do is something you note down and then go back in and adjust in the system prompt. Because more often than not, you have, for example, conflicting instructions, or the instructions are not clear enough and the voice agent says something or does something that you don't want. And you just need to specify this even further in the system prompt. And that's why you just need to iterate on this again and again and again. This can be a bit tedious, this can be a bit tiring, but if you want somebody that does that for you, including the complete speed to lead build, everything that goes into this build, the backend infrastructure, the voice agent, the automations, the CRM connection, the calendar booking, everything, then hit the first link in the description down below and book an appointment with myself, and we can chat and see if this is a fit between us two. And if not, then just go into this yourself and adjust it from time to time again yourself. But after you created the assistant, you can just copy the ID from the assistant, because if you remember, that's the other thing we need to set in GoHighLevel. Go back to GoHighLevel and paste the ID here, click Save Action, hit Save, and then publish the workflow. But now we have the assistant, and I think we don't even really need to publish it, but let's just do anyways. Just hit publish. And now what is missing are two things. We first need to have the N8N workflow that can actually, get the information from Vapi, check the calendar if it is free or not, and then actually book the appointment. And we need the tools in Vapi to actually send this information to N8N. First, we will go actually back into my resource hub. We will go to the N8N prompt here, expand this, and then copy this gray element here. Close this off again, and then go into N8N. In N8N, you will create a new workflow, and you will just paste the code which you just copied from my resource hub in here. And this is the complete workflow. Don't really need to do anything here except go into this node and input three things. We need the location ID of the account, we need the calendar ID of the account, and we need the authorization key of this account. So these three things are something we get from GoHighLevel. So let's just go back to GoHighLevel. In GoHighLevel, you will go to the business profile first and copy the location ID. Next up, you will go to calendars. Let's just see here. And you will need to copy the calendar ID of the calendar you want to connect to the voice agent. In my case, this would be this one. So copy the ID from there. And next, we need to copy the private integration token, so the API key. I already have mine set up right here, but you would create a new integration, give it a name, click next, then have the scopes. The scopes are basically what the API key can actually access. Ideally, you wouldn't select everything here, but only the ones that are absolutely necessary, just because of security reasons. In this case, I will just select all. Again, don't do this. And then hit create. If you create this, then you will get your API key right here. Now, this will be blurred because obviously this is something secret. You should never leak this to anyone, but you need to copy this, make sure to save it somewhere because you won't be able to see it again. But if you have those three things, go back to N8N and then first of all, paste the location ID, then paste the calendar ID. And lastly, you will need to input the API key into here. I won't show this because again, you can't see this. But if you have then inputted all of those three informations into these fields, then you're golden. Now, if you did that, you have the workflow right here. It should work right out of the box. Obviously, after you published, just in case, so there should be always this green light right there. Now, in order for Vapi to be able to actually give the information the customer requests, or the requested time and date, or the booking slot from Vapi to N8N, we need to go into the very first node, go into production URL and copy this URL. After you did this, go back to my resource hub, and now we will use the second prompt under the Vapi configuration. So go to tool calls and copy this too. With both things in your clipboard, you will go back to Vapi, back to the composer, and now we will have the composer build our connection between Vapi and N8N via building the tools. So just paste the prompt which I have in my resource hub in here. And what you can see, the only thing you need to change is this webhook URL. This is your custom webhook URL, which you just copied from N8N. So remove this and paste your actual URL into here so that Vapi knows where to point those requests to. And after you did this, you will just hit enter and wait. Now the Vapi Composer will go into its backend. It will create 3 tools. First, a tool which checks the calendar for available slots in general. Second, a tool which will check a specific slot that the user requests if this specific slot is free. And third, it will create a tool which actually books a slot when both parties agreed on an open slot. And then it will also update the prompt of the voice agent. And that's what it wants me to approve right here. Update resource. This is something I want to approve. And if I approve this, then Vapi Composer is ready already. Now we can go into tools and we can see that we have 3 new tools. We have check calendar N8N, book calendar N8N, and check slot N8N. And when we go back to assistants now, in order to verify that the tools actually have been linked to the assistant, what you will do is you will go to tools, and if you see check calendar N8N, check slot N8N, and book calendar N8N in this tool section selected, then everything is good. Now you can go back into the system prompt right here and just verify this even further by checking the customer data. These are the variables which will be imported from GoHighLevel, from the JSON body, if you remembered, so that the agent has context on the answers it gave in the form. Obviously, the bottom 3 here might be different for you. Please adjust this in the system prompt right here and in the JSON body from GoHighLevel. But apart from that, obviously, you could read through this prompt. I mean, this is definitely far from perfect, probably. I will leave it at this now, and I will just, give it a call and see how it works. And to do this, you guessed it, I will go to the actual web page that I built earlier to show you guys how everything works together. So the way I will do it is I will click on this button. This will pop up the form that I created earlier, and I will put in my information right here and then my email address. And with all my information filled in, I will just check those 2 check marks. And then if I click this button, I will receive a call in a few seconds. As you can see, I will just take off my headphones. This will direct me to the thank you page, and my phone will ring in a few seconds. You can see it coming. And there is the call.
Hi, this is XYZ calling from ABC. Am I speaking with Tim?
Yes, you are. How can I help you?
Thanks, Tim. You recently inquired online for a broker to help with your loan options. Are you looking to buy a property, refinance, or something else?
Yeah, I wanted to buy a property.
Great, Tim. Do you have a specific location or suburb in mind for the property?
Yeah, I actually wanted to buy in Germany, in Munich.
Thanks for that. And about the price range, are you looking at properties around a certain value?
I mean, prices in Munich are quite steep, so probably above 1.5 million.
Understood. Do you have an estimated deposit or savings amount for this purchase?
No.
No worries. Are you currently employed or self-employed? And will this be a single or joint income application?
Yeah, I am employed, and this will be a joint application with my brother.
Thanks for sharing that. Do you have any major constraints we should know about, like visa status or credit issues?
No, not at all.
Great. And your desired timeline is in 1 to 3 months, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect, Tim. What time zone are you in?
I'm
This will help
in
us
Munich.
schedule a... One moment. I see available times on March 30th at 12:30 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. and on March 31st at 8 a.m., all in your Munich time zone. Which one works best for you?
Can you actually check if Thursday next week is available around 8 a.m.?
The 8 a.m. slot on Thursday next week isn't available. Would you like me to suggest some other times on that day?
Yes, please.
The 9 a.m. slot on Thursday next week is also unavailable. Would you prefer a later time that day, or should I suggest times on a different day?
No, it's fine. Then I will just take the 8 a.m. slot on, Tuesday the 31st.
Just a sec. All set, Tim. Your appointment is booked for 8 a.m. on March 31st, Munich time. A consultant will follow up with you then. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Tim. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you. You too. That's it. And yes, this call wasn't perfect, but also the system was set up in 15 minutes. So obviously this is not tuned, this is not dialed in at all, but you can see how this would work. And also here, maybe a roofing example. At 9:47 p.m., a homeowner submits a roofing inspection from their phone. And at 9:47:28 p.m., they actually already get the call 28 seconds later. And then 1 to 2 minutes later, the lead is qualified and has a confirmed booked slot in the calendar. And then next morning, the roofing business owner wakes up to a pre-qualified roofing job on their calendar, to which they just have to show up to the inspection and then close the deal. And the best thing here is that this is simple, relevant, and immediate. The lead knows exactly why they are being called because the AI references, their form submission in the opening line. And it's not an awkward code call energy with like, how did you hear about us? Because the context is already there. Like the lead literally filled in the form a few seconds ago. They still know that they did it. They don't know this anymore 2 days afterwards. And that's the full system. The lead submits a form, GHL triggers, Vapi calls within 30 seconds, the AI qualifies, and N8N books. And everything updates in GHL automatically. If you run a service business and you're paying for leads, but you don't really call them fast enough, this is the fix. The first link in the description is a direct booking link with myself if you want this built for your business. Happy to walk you through whether this makes sense for your setup. What we do is we build and manage the entire speed to lead AI phone agent system for your business. You don't touch the tech, you just show up to the appointments that we book into your calendar. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel to not miss any future tutorials, and if you want to see more like this, definitely comment below if you have any preferences, what specifically. And with that, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Cheers.